We're at the first Wrexham Tattoo Show 2017. I've got a real good friend of mine with me, Willy Robinson. Hello, Willy. How are you, mate?
You know, that's a real honour for me, for you to call me a good friend.
No, it's an honour for me.
No, really, because I appreciate everything you do for our profession and to protect the history. I think it's so important.
Yeah, but I feel the same with you. But you sort of go under the radar a little bit. Are you not sort of into the publicity side?
No, do you know what? I've done 208,000 miles driving all around Europe.
Yeah.
I've been to Holland, to Germany, to Italy, to Austria, Norway, Sweden, Transylvania, in the middle of Transylvania and Dracula's castle. I've been everywhere to all the tattoo studios looking for artifacts and also trying to collect some stories.
Because you must have one of the biggest collections in the world, but you've got but you've got a very interesting collection. I mean, you've got rare books and things that other people have got.
Well, because there's so many of us now collect, and I have to try and collect stuff that nobody else is collecting, or else I wouldn't get anything.
What got you into it?
Well, Mr. Dixon was a tattoo artist, and I was a disc jockey, and we came upon the idea, the dream was to actually open up a nightclub.
Yeah.
And so he was in the pub game at the time, and so we became partners. We opened up a nightclub together. So we had this nightclub, and so after about 3 weeks, multi-million-pound nightclub, and then after 3 weeks, I turned around and says to him, Alan, I need a job. He says, what are you going on about? I says, I need a job. He says, well, we're earning all this money. I says, yeah, but we're only open Thursday, Friday and Saturday. He says, yeah. I says, yeah, but my missus is spending it quicker than we can actually earn it. I need a job. Oh, he says, what are you going to do? I says, I've decided I'm going to open up a tattoo studio. Are you off your head? You can't open a tattoo studio. You can't do anything like it. Oh my. So I said, I'll tell you what. How about we open it up together, or I'll do it on my own. So we ended up opening up a tattoo studio together.
And this was in Germany?
That's in Germany, yeah. And then it just grew and grew and grew.
But what was the first thing that got you interested in the collecting side? Was there any specific thing you found or came across and you thought, oh...
I think when I was a young kid, I was always into collecting, your normal stuff, your stamps and your coins. And then when you get into the world of tattooing and you find such incredible pieces of history knocking around, you collect the odd things. And so I had a nice small collection of odd things. I mean, because people would come into the studio and they'd have an old machine and you go, right, I've got to buy that. It's got to get it off the street. We can't have everybody tattooing because, the secrets were secret. So we'd get it off the street and we'd buy it. So you'd have a little bit of a collection going on. And then sadly when Tio died and I managed to purchase the collection from Tio, had all the Christian Varlick stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
And the Holtz House stuff.
Yeah.
And that for me then catapulted my collection into being like what I would class as a museum quality.
Because he was
collection.
possibly the greatest German tattoo artist who's ever lived. And you've got all of his collection now. I mean, it must be amazing. I mean, there was Fink.
Say that I've got about half of his collection, maybe a little bit more, because when he died in 1964, his daughter actually sold the collection to the Museum of History in Hamburg. So they thought they had all of it, but they don't actually have all of it. And if you search YouTube about a museum hijack, I actually put a little video on there many years ago saying, well, I've got all this stuff from the Germans and they don't even know. And we put a little video up quite a few years ago. So yeah, I picked up a really nice collection of German history.
Is it true that Adolf Hitler, Christian Varlick was the only man who was allowed to tattoo in Germany during the Second World War? Have you heard that story?
I've heard that story many times.
Do you think that's true? Or?
Well, Herbert Hoffman, when we used to chat to Herbert, and Herbert will go, well, in October 1944, what? Yeah, in October. And he had a memory that was absolutely unbelievable. And he also said that Varlick was the only tattooist who was allowed to carry on working during the Second World War.
But why was that? Because he was banned and they wanted to get round the ban? Or?
Well, they got round the ban by saying it was folklore. And obviously then all the sailors and the soldiers, they still wanted tattooing during the war. And but the problem being is there is no evidence. There's no piece of paper saying, look, you know, this guy had been given permission. So it's just a story at the moment. But everybody said it. All the old boys
I've heard
would
it
be
so
saying,
many times,
and me too. I've heard it a lot of times. So I think it's something that we really must believe.
Yeah. And I mean, that's all history. And obviously you are right into the history. Can you tell us a little bit about the Falmouth show? And they used much of your collection, haven't they?
They the Falmouth collection, in the first week when I went actually down to see them, they said, this is the guy that had the secret location. And the guys went down, because they came down to see me. And I said, well, yeah, you can take whatever you like, because I really want the history to be out there. I really would like that it's done professionally and into a maritime museum. And so they nitpicked everything what they thought was the best stuff. And they took enough to actually do the show with my stuff alone.
But did you have to educate them?
No, they brought in Matt Lodder, who's a doctor, and he knows actually quite a lot about the history. And they,
I mean, when I say educate,
they had a lot of help from a lot of people. Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that you gave them to show.
They were quite clued up. They came in and they said, we'll take this and we take that. And they actually gave me a list. And I said, look, you know, I know the show doesn't start for half a year, but if you want this stuff, you're going to need to come and pick it up straight away, because I'm back on my travels to Europe. And a week later, they were there and they'd made a list and, we want that and we want this and we want the Edison box and we want that and we want that. And they'd done a good job. So,
and I believe it's going to go on the road, isn't it?
That's the fabulous news. They rang me up a couple of weeks ago and they said, we want to take it out on the road, 3 years. Pardon? Yeah, 3 years. We want to take it to all the top maritime museums all around the UK. And I'm like, well, it's just like, we can't miss out on something like that. I think it's so very, very important so that people get to see the history and to make it, more popular.
And Germany has got a big history in St. Owen, obviously, and I believe you're helping with some of their history museums, aren't you, doing an exhibition?
We opened a show couple of months ago, and it's running through till January in the Cultural Museum in Leipzig, and they were the lucky people in the Victorian times that purchased 25% of the Horatio Robley collection, and they've put on an incredible show. Totally different from Falmouth, so you can't say that one's better than the other. It's just totally different. It's something I would say you need to go and see both.
Well, with the Robley collection, I suppose there's a lot of Maori stuff and things like that, isn't it?
Incredible carvings, mokos, unbelievable, really, really beautiful stuff, and oil paintings from the Victorian times, incredible.
So out of your collection, Willy, what is the most single piece you like? I knew I was going to ask you this.
I knew you was going to. People have asked me this before. It is such a difficult question to answer because, I love it all. Certain things, the stories. I love the stories. I was on a convention. And I was sat at the front in Germany. I sat at the front of the stage, and the girl was singing on stage, and she was on one of their talent shows, and she actually came second. And so abnormal that the Germans can actually sing, because they're normally pretty rubbish, to be honest. And she had a lovely voice, and I'm sat there, and all of a sudden this bloke comes wandering over, and he looks at me and he goes, are you the little Englishman? Huh? Yes, it's you I'm looking for. Huh? So I said, yeah, I've got something for you. Oh, yeah? What are you going on about? He said, well, about 15 years ago, he says, I was on a car boot sale, and I seen this mirror, and it was a tattooed lady, and I bought it. He says, it cost quite a lot of money, but I bought it because I knew one day it would go to the right person. And I think you're that right person. And so I purchased this mirror off him for the same price that he paid for it, but that honour, just that, of him passing it over, and nobody's seen the image before. I've got the mirror hidden away until we actually get a museum open that we can actually hang it up. But this is an old image on a mirror of a tattooed lady. Incredible.
So what is the Holy Grail, if there's anything out there you would really like? Or nothing really, just
no, not really. No, and there's no Holy Grail for me.
No. And what do you think of the future of tattooing? Like this convention, a lot of young kids are doing wonderful work.
They're doing incredible work. I must admit that for me, the parameters have gone in both directions. The standard of the work has got so bad because the secrets are not secret anymore. So they can pick up stuff and pick up ideas, and they're tattooing and they can't even draw. But in the other direction, we've had more artists working now than we've ever had before. They've come through universities and got degrees in art, and you look at the photographic artwork, it's just incredible. Yeah.
Well, Willy, it's always a pleasure meeting you, and thanks very much for this.
Paul,
and we'll see you on the road.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank
Cheers.
you.